salvation, and happiness. It's your season. It's your time. God has plans for your life to prosper you and to give you hope and a future. Join us and learn how God's love and power can bring hope and happiness to your life. This is your opportunity for motivation, encouragement, and purpose.
HBCU, stand up. Like Bethune. Hey, go! My HBCU better than yours. 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 Where you from? From the north. Where you from? From the south. Where you from? From the east. Where you from? From the west. My HBCU better than yours. My HBCU better than yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the HBCU Alumni House Party. I'm George Sanders, your special guest host for today, and we have an extraordinary show in store for you. Our spotlight today is on the talented host and creator of the HBCU Alumni House Party, my dear friend, Mr. Anthony Harris Brown. In just a few moments, we'll delve into the inspiration behind the show and uncover the captivating personality of Anthony himself. But before we proceed, let's take a short commercial break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Here's Grandma Florence after that flood wiped out the whole neighborhood.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here.
I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Your family is your legacy. Planning for a natural disaster will make sure you're all safe. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today.
There's nothing better than being inspired and renewed daily by the power of God. In Morning Tea with the King, author Tish Barnhart shares inspiration through a 90-day devotional that will rejuvenate your mind with scripture and your body with daily suggested herbal teas. You'll begin to see that every experience brings about a different perspective on how to view the things that are happening in our lives as we continue on our journey. Available at Amazon, your local bookstore, or at trilogy.tv.
Attention ministry leaders. Have you ever considered growing your ministry with television? Well, the Daily Gospel Network could be what you've been looking for. As one of the nation's largest Christian broadcasting companies, the Daily Gospel Network broadcasts all over the world on popular streaming platforms like Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. If you're looking to grow and reach more people, the Daily Gospel Network could be your solution.
At the time, I just wasn't thinking. I used social media to vent. I wish I would have thought about the effects of scaring people. I didn't mean for that to happen. People took it as a terrorist threat. The university got shut down. I got arrested by the FBI. And now, I don't know what my future looks like. I search my name on the web almost every day and look at the stuff. It's not going away. Think before you post.
Welcome back to the HBCU Alumni House Party. I'm George Sanders, your special guest host for today, and I'm absolutely thrilled that you are here. Today, we have another fantastic episode, and we are honored to have Anthony Harris Brown, the host and creator, join us for an exclusive interview. But before we embark on this exciting journey, allow me to introduce you to this exceptional individual. Anthony is an incredible father, a podcast and talk show host, highly sought after professional speaker, actor, and educator. He's a passionate advocate for historical Black universities and colleges, and he's a proud graduate of Bethune-Cookman University. I'm certain I've only scratched the surface of his accomplishments, but I'm also confident that Anthony will fill in the gaps. So without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to my friend, Anthony Harris Brown. Anthony Harris Brown, how are you today?
George, I am absolutely amazing. That's about it in a nutshell.
Well, look, you can be nothing other than that. Matter of fact, every time I talk to you, you're amazing, my brother. And I thank you for being amazing. Look, it's contagious, Anthony. So thank you for being that. You reminded me of something the other day, that you and I have been knowing each other for a year, my brother. A year.
Oh,
yes,
my God.
a year.
It's been a year.
been a year.
I think I came apart and I met you via social media and we connected probably around May-ish of 2022.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, my first show on the Daily Gospel Network aired on July 3rd, 2022. And here it is a year later. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm still here.
Crazy. That's crazy. You know, people always, you know, they listen to us banter back and forth and they say, you know, you guys got to been knowing each other since the 4th grade. Look, it's just kindred spirits, man. And
that's what it is.
That's all it is.
I think it's two brothers, you know, from different mothers who've been able to connect, have some very like experiences growing up, and all those kinds of things. Both having gone to HBCU and being able to have that connection. I think that's the commonality that connects us. And like, oh, brother, come on. Been there, done that. Let's talk about it.
Even though my HBCU is better. You know, pardon the pun, but my HBCU is better than yours.
Okay. Shout out again to Mike Yellington, who is the creator of that song. Who I just love the fact that, you know, this is a very exciting song, very party driven. But it's the fact that no matter at the end of the day, we are all still family.
That's right. That's right. Catchy tune, man. So absolute kudos to him and all the folks that you know that sing the song along with me. But I'm not saying it just as a song. I'm saying it as fact. Southern University, A&M College, Baton Rouge, Louisiana is the best.
I'm gonna let you have that today since you are the guest host of the show today.
Well, there it is. Say no more. Look, Anthony, we're going to get into this, man, because you and I will end up clowning for a whole 30 minutes and the people won't get nothing. But
right, we're going to have to come back and do another one.
well, and you know what? In fact, let's do that. We're going to turn this into a 2-part deal. This is going to be like a mini docuseries or something.
Okay.
Call Netflix up.
Just the behind the scenes.
Look, Anthony, I have the pleasure of knowing you, not only from being in the Talk Show Academy, the Daily Gospel Network, Masterclass, being a contributor to all of these things that we offer. And let me tell you something, you're definitely an asset. We love having you on. Look, I rely on you a lot of times to learn, just even filming and shooting. And I appreciate, you know, your input and all the things that you bring to the table. But one thing I've never asked you, Anthony, over this year, what has inspired you to do the HBCU Alumni House Party?
Wow. Okay, I think I'm going to take it way back. So I remember growing up and watching the Lou Rawls Parade of Stars telethon. Back when I was a child. This is for the United Negro College Fund. I think that started my whole philanthropic endeavors, learning more about HBCUs, learning about giving back and supporting the community. I was watching this telethon. I had to be about 8 or 9 years old. And my dad, you know, they would have the local segment. They would have a national broadcast wherever they were from, LA, Las Vegas, wherever they were from. But they have the local break-ins, like the station breaks, where they'll do like a 10, 15-minute station break locally. And my dad was on the local segment here in Cleveland, Ohio, and he had given a check for $5,000. And I said, I want to give too, because I saw him give. I wanted to give. And I wanted to learn more about what HBCUs were all about. I had no idea. I just saw him giving, and I begged my mom to say, ooh, I had $8 for my allowance, and I wanted to make sure I saw my name scroll at the bottom of the screen. And from there, I started learning about historically Black colleges and universities. I remember my grandmother sitting with me, and you know, because she didn't have a formal education, and she would tell me about these individuals who started schools like Tuskegee and Barber Scotia and Bethune-Cookman and Rusk College, just to name a few. And I was like, she'd heard about it, she just didn't have an opportunity to go. And so I was like, wow, okay. And then so it just started from there. And then from there on, went to school, got a degree in communication, yada, yada, yada. And then we just started doing this. I was actually doing local television here in Cleveland, Ohio. I was on a talk show called Another Look, cable television show. It was on the Time Warner cable network, which is now Spectrum, and we were in 1.4 million homes daily. So I had a chance to be I got to co-host that show for a number of years, about 12 years. So that was pretty cool, and got away from television, radio for a while. Went to education, did this, and this, and really it was the pandemic. It was the pandemic, right? So the pandemic, I was like everyone else, shelter in place, couldn't do much. I think the most time I'd done was doing the media for a church, and wasn't getting out much. So I think one day I just turned on my laptop, logged on to Facebook Live, and started talking. And I said, well, let me talk what I know about. I've been talking about HBCUs my whole life. So I started talking. And so for 2 years, like a lot of people, started off on Zoom. I went to, the YouTube, Facebook Live situation, trying to find different platforms, the best format to really create this virtual talk show format, create an audience, build some synergy. We use this platform to actually raise dollars for HBCUs. So I think in the 2-year period during the pandemic, we raised close to nearly $200,000 to support historically Black colleges and universities, direct contributions to the institution themselves. And that's how the show kind of evolved. It started off because I was in the house talking about, I was in the house talking about HBCUs, and I would play some music. And that's how the HBCU House Party show was created.
You know what's crazy? You mentioned Lou Rawls. I remember those, Anthony. Man, I remember those. Now, in fact, we are telling how old we are. So I might have to edit this out of the the program, because after all, I'm only 32 years old, and
That means I'm 31.
33, I think. So, but I remember those, man, as a kid, and I had the same inspiration. Of course, grew up in Louisiana, so you've got Grambling, you got Southern, you got Xavier, and you've got, I'm surrounded by that. And so Bayou Classic and a whole bunch of other events that really support, HBCUs. And so you're kind of immersed in it, here. But man, I applaud you, because I know the things that you are doing, the things that you've done to support children, kids, young adults going to college. And so it's impressive. And so as people look forward to the show, because they're going to watch it, it is one of the main staples on the Daily Gospel Network. What is the HBCU Alumni House Party all about?
Oh my gosh. So after we had gone through various iterations of the show, and we got past the fundraising component of it all, and we're going to come back to that one day real soon. As we entered into season 3, and that's when I met you, right? Mm-hmm. We started to rebrand and to kind of refocus what we were about. So I got a team. I got some alumni friends of mine representing, not only my institution, Bethune-Cookman. I got an alum from North Carolina A&T. I got a couple from Wilberforce University, just to name a few. And so Tuskegee. So I got a team who gives me some feedback and critique. And so we finally settled with, and I had to go look at my cheat sheet to kind of figure out, make sure I'm saying the right thing. So the House Party Show is a virtual half-hour talk show packed with engaging conversations about HBCUs, where we're talking to alumni, we're talking to students, we're talking to faculty, staff. Sometimes we even get college presidents onto the show, all about the greatness of what these schools are about, or what that school may have done for you, and open doors to get you where you are today. So we always try to talk about, we look at the accomplishments and achievements of students and alumni. We look at the milestones of that institution. Sometimes we're able to share with our viewing audience. And there are over 100 plus HBCUs. And sometimes people will say, well, I know every HBCU and I know all about them. And then I'll bring up a school like, Well, did you know about, St. Philip's College in San Antonio, Texas? What is that? Well, watch the show. Well, did you know about, so I started to educate our community about more about these institutions. So we'll take a deeper dive. I love when I'm able to actually go on location. I just think St. Philip, that's the last HBCU I just visited this spring of 2023, where I actually was in San Antonio and actually walked the campus and did a show on campus. So we talk about the recruitment efforts, the fundraising efforts of the institution, talk about engagement of alumni, and then we talk about the whole idea of what our alumni are doing in the community. So we look at some of their organizations, if they're doing if they have their own nonprofit, or if they're doing something in the community that's worth it, how they're connecting their experience at their institution back to their community.
Gotcha, man. Look, well, it is a treat. I watch it every week. You have incredible guests. You have an incredible co-host, dear friend of both of ours, Monique Robinson. She's an
my God. Let me shout out Monique Robinson. Again, let me tell you, let me tell you about this story with Monique. Now, Monique, I didn't know who she was when she first called me. She called me some years ago because in this HBCU landscape and work, I do a lot of HBCU engagement across the country and here in Cleveland, Ohio. And so Monique had saw something on social media that we were doing something here in Cleveland called an HBCU send-off, where we were actually celebrating students who had made the decision to make an HBCU their destination of choice. And so we celebrate, and we have a cookout, a family gathering, all those things to bring everybody to the table. And, we give them gifts, cards, or Foot Locker, school supplies, the whole 9 yards. Monique saw this, and she called me and said, well, why aren't you doing this in San Antonio? I'm like, who are you? I don't know who she is. She emailed me, and then she called. I'm like, I don't even know who you are. I thought she was stalking me. I'm like, who is this lady? So she said she went to Wilberforce. So I called a friend of mine here in Cleveland saying, do you know this lady? He said, oh, yeah, Monique, she was one of my classmates. We was in choir together. Okay, so now I got the stamp of approval. Then I was able to engage in conversation with her. We chatted, and then we just like you and I, we just kind of connected. And we have been, just kind of good, close friends since the pandemic again. I think I've only met Monique 3 times in person. Just 3 times. I've actually had a check because she's from Dayton, Ohio, which is about 2.5 hours from Cleveland. I went to an event in Dayton, and she happened to be there. She happened to come home and see her family, and we met. And then I did an event in Houston, and she came over because she's in San Antonio. Then the third time was just recently when I went to San Antonio. She was there.
Wow, I didn't know that part, Anthony. And now let me tell you, she is a sweetheart of a person. She has a heart of gold, and she cares about the youth. So you guys are a wonderful combination on the HBCU Alumni House Party. Listen, Anthony, what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to be back. And I'm going to ask Anthony, how did he come up with the name HBCU Alumni House Party? Why's it got to be a party all the time, Anthony, with you? What's that? Anyway, stick around. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Celebrate the excellence of HBCUs with the HBCU Trivia Game. This board game provides an exciting and educational way to learn about notable alumni, historical events, sports news, and more. This trivia game is sure to be a hit and perfect for college-bound youth, alumni, and the entire family. Don't miss out on this opportunity to support, educate, and entertain Get the HBCU Trivia Game today. Go to hbcutriviagame.net to order.
Did you know you can apply to over 50 HBCUs for only $20? You can with the Common Black College application. My name is Robert Mason. I'm the founder of the CBCA. Over 250,000 students have completed the application and received multiple acceptance letters, financial aid packages, and scholarship offers. So visit our website at commonblackcollegeapp.com to pay only $20 to apply now. And don't forget to order your copy of the book, Get Educated, The Man Behind the Common Black College Application. Thank you, and get educated.
It's time to book your homecoming or classic weekend hotel room today through HBCUHotels.com and help support HBCU students. Our rates are unbeatable for hotels such as the Sheraton, the Residence Inn, La Quinta Inn and Suites, Best Western, the Courtyard Marriott, Holiday Inn, and the Westin Hotel. Plus, when you book through us, a portion of the revenue will go toward scholarships for HBCU-bound scholars. Book your hotel and help a student reach their chosen HBCU destination. HBCUHotels.com is not affiliated with, officially connected to, or endorsed by the institutions of higher education identified in the event listings or any of their subsidiaries or affiliates.
For more than 75 years, UNCF, the United Negro College Fund, has worked to combat deep-rooted obstacles to higher educational access, achievement, and career success, annually providing financial and educational support to our 37-member historically Black colleges and universities. Please give what you can. UNCF, our HBCUs, and our students appreciate you and your donation, no matter how big or small. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
We are back. HBCU Alumni House Party. I'm your stand-in host, George Sanders. For the actual host, Anthony Harris Brown and Monique Robinson. We can't leave out Monique Robinson. And we've had a thrilling show, an incredible show. Anthony's told us all about the origin of the HBCU Alumni House Party. And so we're going to get into some more things about this incredible show. But I want to know, how'd you come up with the name, Anthony? House Party, HBCU Alumni House Party. Tell us about it.
Okay, so first, I got to go back and give another connecting story. So there is a Facebook group now, it has over 103 plus thousand members. I think we're the largest HBCU community group on Facebook. And I would almost say on May 7, 2020, May 7, 2020, no, let's take it before that. May 7, 18, 19, the group was under another name, less than 5,000 people. I was like, yeah, but they would be talking about things like, well, who got the best chicken dinners, or who put sugar or salt on their grits. Now, certainly, I'm here for the savory grits, so I'm gonna go for the butter and the sugar, the butter and the salt, butter and salt all the time. Now, I know you from the other side of the track, George, and you like them old sweet grits. That's oatmeal.
I've never put sugar on grits in my life.
Okay, then good. I mean, you all right with me. So, I mean, they were just kind of, then there was someone who made a comment. There was someone who made a comment because at that point in time, it seemed like our HBCUs were always in peril. They always got this spotlight on us about, we're losing our accreditation, or we don't have enough funding, or we don't do this, we don't do that. I think that predominantly white institutions go through the same thing, but it's just always, we're under the microscope all the time. Yeah. Everyone's got the magnifying glass on us. However, there are PWIs that go through the same thing every day. We don't talk about them. Nonetheless, there was someone who had an alum jump in the group and said, we got schools we're losing schools from accreditation, things of that nature, and we want to argue about sugar or salt. And I was like, wow. He said, I wish we could come together and to be, just be connected somehow. Oh, okay. That's what you want? Sure.
Wow.
On May 8th, the very next day, I changed the name of the group, calling it the HBCU Alumni United Group. Almost like an old familiar Bible story that you all may have learned back in Vacation Bible School about a man named Saul walking down the road to a city called Damascus. Come on, somebody. And he heard somebody say, he heard the voice that said, Paul, I got something for you. He said, what you need? Simple story. But the fact that once he changed his name, he had a purpose. So he now had a purpose-driven life to do something different than what he was doing to make an impact. Right. So I changed the name and said, can all HBCU alumni support all HBCUs? It didn't matter. By that point, we were in the pandemic. We couldn't get outside. We couldn't go nowhere. Wasn't no homecomings happening. Wasn't no classics happening. Wasn't no travel happening. Can you put 5 on somebody else's school? That's how we started the fundraiser. And so, again, I'm in this group, target audience, I'm stuck in the house. Let's just turn on Facebook Live, play some music, and engage with my audience and saying, can you give?
Wow.
So I became my own, I became Lou Rawls. So people start calling, start chatting, start commenting, start joining the stream, start giving. And every so often we may have I used to have a live DJ. So then we have somebody come on and sing. It became a party with a purpose to educate our community about HBCUs and to raise dollars to support our institutions, because we can't go and ask somebody else to give if we don't give.
Boy, you said a mouthful right there. I say it all the time. If we can't invest in ourselves, we can't expect anybody to invest in us. And that's the truth, Anthony.
And that's where the party happens. So, and sometimes, sometimes it may take us, we build a little different.
Yeah.
So you got to give me something. You got to let me pop my fingers real quick. Listen, there would be a time when we would spin. I had a virtual, like a Wheel of Fortune kind of wheel going, and we'll give out some free prizes, or we'll do it. Every time we bring in new members into the group, we'll spin the wheel and throw their name in the hat, and they may win something. And after we welcome to the group, everybody bring out their drink of choice, whatever you was drinking. You were drinking some hot tea, or you was drinking your libations. Okay, now we're going to make a toast to everybody who just joined.
That sounds like we were just talking off air about Clark Atlanta, right? I'll find a way.
Find a way
or make one. Amen. Amen. Anthony, as we talk about that, you put a lot of effort, you put a lot of time, you put a lot of resources into helping our youth, our African-American youth, get to college. Now, this may sound like a crazy question, but it is a real question in 2023. How important is college now?
Listen, education, I'm just going to say education, is the key to any and everything. To be a lifelong learner, not just a kindergarten through 12th grade learner, not just a 4-year college degree learner, not to be just a trade school learner, but to be a lifelong learner is important. It opens doors, it provides connections, it makes opportunity, not just for you, but also for your legacy.
And that concludes this week's episode. And what an amazing episode it has been. Join us again next week for part 2 of this captivating interview with the creator and host of the HBCU Alumni House Party, my good friend Anthony Harris Brown. Remember, you can catch the HBCU Alumni House Party every week on the Daily Gospel Network, Daily Gospel Network International, and the Daily Gospel Network Plus. Until then, stay safe and may God bless you abundantly. See you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to another fabulous segment of the HBCU House Party with your host, Anthony Brown. Tune in next week for more fun, education, and inspiration as we spotlight historically Black universities and colleges all over the country. So, until next time, support an HBCU and help cultivate the wealth of talent these universities and colleges have to offer. You never know, the student you help could be the next one to change the world.